All right. What is up? We are back with some Yu-Gi-Oh content, finally. And yeah, I'm super stoked to get back into it. We're still running some Dragoon control, but I had one of the craziest matches. And so I figured we'll go over one of the replays from one of the games. This was by far the most interesting one, game 2. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. We'll do the card by card. My opponent was on some crazy stuff. I actually really liked their deck. I don't know how good it is. My deck's not very good at it, though. Who cares? We're just having some fun. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the card by card, and we'll go through this replay here. So we have a Metaverse, Called by the Grave, Secret Village of the Spellcasters, Crossout Designator, and another Metaverse. And then the opponent has Eldlich, the Scarlet Sanguine. They're on Freezing Curses, Droplet, another Sanguine, and a Fenrir. All right, let's go ahead and get on into it here. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the main phase, and I'm going first here. And yeah, this hand is terrible if I didn't already comment on that. So yeah, we don't get to play the game. We do not summon Dragoon. We do not pass go. We do not collect 200. But we can set up some decent floodgates here. So a call by is gonna be nice, a cross out, and probably the Metaverse will all get set here. So go ahead and set 3 pass. Doesn't feel great, but you know, what are you gonna do? So at this point, they're gonna go ahead and drop a Ken fresh off the top on me. Now what's nice is the Ken is a little bit worse than the Gen. If they summon the Gen, they get to bring out the Ken to the opponent, and the Ken, this guy here, is what lets the opponent draw 2, so they're not gonna draw 2 cards, which is nice, but they are gonna rip one out of my hand, which is a little bit unfortunate. So they're gonna Ken, bring out the Gen. Gen is on my side of the field, so he forces me to discard. So at this point, I choose to get rid of the Secret Village. There's no way we're going to stick a Dragoon on this next turn, and so this can kind of be my dead card, and not to mention, Metaverse could grab a Secret Village later, so that's fine. I give up the Secret Village. Now they're going to go ahead and get their freaking Runick plays going here, which is just nuts. So Runick into the Hugin will discard to go ahead and grab their Fountain, and then they're probably just going to rip the Fountain right off the top. Nope. So they make an SP Little Mite using the Hugin and the Ken, which is interesting. Maybe they want the Gen off my field for some reason. It doesn't really do much for me anyways. I'm definitely not linking it away. So now they're going to go ahead and they're going to set 2. They'll set an Eldlich, they'll set a Droplet, and then they're going to banish the Eldlich in the main phase to set a Golden Land. So they'll go ahead and set up their Conquistador here. And they will skip their battle phase because of the Runick cards, and they're going to go ahead and pass their turn here. So at this point, I was thinking, you know, there's nothing in their grave for them to really set up to activate the Metaverse. The Metaverse would be used to activate our, the Necrovalley. So there's no need to Necrovalley them just yet. Surprised they didn't drop a Fenrir, to be honest. That's kind of surprising. Why not just Fenrir and then have that as an extra interruption? Maybe they were holding it for later. Regardless, we are going to go ahead and draw for turn here. Oh my god, and we just get the best rip off the top. Exactly what we needed to see. So we're gonna go ahead and fire off the Insight, send our Wyvern to then grab a Red Eyes Fusion. Incredible, best card in the deck. Now, they do have a Droplet here, so that will contend the Dragoon, and then they will get to do their Eldlich plays as well. SP doesn't do much against Dragoon. So we're gonna go ahead and fire off the Red Eyes Fusion here, to which they immediately respond with the Eldlich, which makes sense. But now I'm kind of wondering, I'm like, do they use the Conquistador to try to get a blind pop here to stop something? Because if they try to do that, I mean, that would be pretty decent. So let's go ahead and see what they do. They bring out their Golden Lord, but they do not go ahead and blind pop. So now we have our Dragoon stuck, which means we have a little bit more protection. It can negate something that the opponent does. So I'm feeling pretty decent about that. So now we're gonna go ahead and force the issue here. If we Dragoon attempt to destroy one of their cards, they are forced to use one of their Conquistadors to, you know, try to pop something while they still have the Golden Lord, because we're obviously going for the Golden Lord. But basically, if they do not have the Golden Lord on the field, they don't get their extra effect, which in this one would be destroy one face-up card on the field. Oh, it's face-up. Oh, they can't go after my back row. See, reading. Imagine Yu-Gi-Oh players reading. Anyways, they will go ahead and chain the Conquistador just to Droplet it away, which in my opinion was incorrect. I don't think they should have Dropleted a trap, because if they want to Droplet my Dragoon, you Droplet a monster away so the Dragoon can't stop the Droplet. But because they didn't do that, I mean, I just get a free Dragoon to negate here. But what they don't know is we have the cross out with a Droplet in deck, so we don't even need to Dragoon negate their cross out, or Dragoon negate their Droplet. We can cross out the Droplet, which is exactly why I have one Droplet in my deck, for this exact reason. So now they're gonna go ahead and chain their SP Little Knight to banish, and at this point I'm like, whatever, man. Go ahead and banish. I'm gonna keep this card for their turn, so I have a negate, and we'll just let them banish their 2 monsters. That's fine. Dragoon won't pop. Totally fine here. But we do stop the Droplet, which is incredible. So now we're gonna go ahead and just battle phase. But what's even nastier is now they have a little bit of setup here, right? They've got two, Eldlich traps in their grave, so they can banish those to start doing some stuff. What I believe they've already done, no, they have not banished the Scarlet Sanguine yet, so they will be able to respond. Oh no, they only get one Sanguine effect, right? One Sanguine effect. Okay, so they've already used it, so they do not get to use either of these during the main phase 2, which is great, because we're just gonna go ahead and set up our Necrovalley, if I recall correctly. Yeah, this is nasty. Okay, so this is a huge floodgate. One throwback to Merrick, right? OG in the game for sure. But yeah, this Necrovalley puts in so much work. It stops their Runick cards. It stops their Eldlich cards / Eldlich cards. So yeah, really, really solid. And we still have or negate, and we still have a call by exactly for maybe this Golden Lord later on. So yeah, this is a nasty setup here. We've got them under Necrovalley. They got their 2 guys back. Doesn't even matter. They can't do much because this guy's too much of a weenie to beat over Dragoon. Fountain's not doing anything to put stuff back under Necrovalley. Necrovalley says you cannot move cards out of the graveyard. Cards in the graveyard stay there. Okay, so they're gonna go ahead and Flashing Fire to basically what, special summon? Because they can't target my Dragoon. Okay, so they're gonna go ahead and bring out a Jerry. Now this is a pretty solid move on their part because Jerry can't be destroyed by card effects, so I can't Dragoon pop it. I have to run it over by battle, and if it's destroyed by battle, he can target a card on the field and destroy it. So it's really not bad at all. So let's go ahead and see. Yeah, they're gonna Runick Fountain. That's not doing anything under Necrovalley. Welcome to the floodgate, my guy. And then this is fascinating. They went into a link play for the BLS. The problem is they can't just attack with this thing because they used a Runick spell to bring out their fusion guy here, and all of the Runick cards have that same clause: skip the next battle phase after activation. So they're not going to battle to trade with the Dragoon here, which is incredible. It means I have a chance to out this Soldier of Chaos before he can out my Dragoon. Okay, so they will go ahead and just go to the battle phase to immediately skip it because of their Runick cards. And so now we rip a Talons off the top, which is not great, to be honest. It's just a 1-of. It's fine. This is really just to drop it away, the Talents. But yeah, we go ahead and Typhon here. So I was thinking a lot about this, right? So the Dragoon itself, I can't necessarily get over this BLS because I need the Dragoon to be pumped up to 4K. The only way you can pump it up to 4K is to activate a card and then negate that with your own Dragoon and basically burn a bunch of hand. I can't use the called by because it's cards in the graveyard cannot be banished. So I can't even attempt to banish a card from the graveyard and activate the called by. So I'm kind of stuck where I'm like, I can't power up my Dragoon enough to beat over this thing. But thankfully, Sky Crisis can deal with it. So yes, while I leave myself vulnerable a little bit here, I figure at the very least, I've still got him under Necrovalley. What are the odds that he was sitting on this Fenrir, but I didn't know about that. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead, go after the BLS, take that out before it threatens my Dragoon, because my Dragoon was just gonna, trade with it anyways. This will at least allow me to keep the Sky Crisis and have some board presence with the monster. So we'll go ahead and resume here. Sky Crisis away their BLS. Hit them for 29. They're in a pretty weak spot here. They go ahead and draw Wakero. That's not doing anything under this Necrovalley. I mean, it can summon itself, but it's not going to do any of its other effects. They have no way of getting the Golden Lord out of the graveyard just yet. They do have a Fenrir, though, which is pretty nasty. So they drop the Fenrir, immediately go to battle phase. I'm like, shoot. Okay, they're going to clear this thing and the Necrovalley, which really sucks. Oh, but then, no, they decided to clear the Sky Crisis because they need to get the monster off the field to then hit me directly. I don't know. In my opinion, I think that was slightly incorrect. I think with the Fenrir, you allow it to crash into the Sky Crisis, let it use its effect to get rid of the Necrovalley, and then die. You don't need this Fenrir. What he really needed was his graveyard. Start turning on these Eldlich cards, but I guess not. So they get rid of the Sky Crisis, which is fine. They keep their Fenrir as an interruption. They use it to search another Fenrir. God, Fenrir is just so ridiculous. And there they go. Now they have at least a Fenrir interruption. It's not nothing, right? Oh, and we just don't rip anything, unfortunately. So, Crossed Out's not doing much. We probably set it in the metaverse. But, what else are we really going to do here? So, now we're going to go ahead and, let's see, we will resume. They're going to rip a Revolution Synchron. What is this deck, man? This is such a wild strategy. So they go ahead, they rip that, they set their Vaquero, and then they just go for the Fenrir. I am very curious. Close the tap. Target one face-up card your opponent controls, banish it face down. I don't know why they're not outing my Necrovalley. Really confusing. So in the end phase here, this one took me a while. I had to think about this for a bit. We actually are going to metaverse for a field spell just so we can get this Necrovalley off, because it's obviously hurting us a little bit too. We need our Wyvern back to be able to, or we need the Necrovalley off of the field to be able to Wyvern back our Dark Dragoon here. So that's the play I was thinking about here. And I was like, I think it's worth it to keep them off of Necrovalley for a second, let my Dragoon get reestablished, and then put them under a different floodgate. So we go ahead and add, what, Secret Village? Yeah, Secret Village, so we can stop their spells. And then we're gonna go ahead, and on our turn, we will just activate Secret Village. That's fine, we don't need to do any more spells. They get to use their stuff, so they are gonna set up, another trap. They get to start banishing stuff from the graveyard. But, we get our Dragoon back, which means we have an interruption, they can't use spells, and we have 2 other face downs as well. So this is great. Right off the bat, they start to try to get this Golden Lord back in rotation, which makes me wonder if they only have 1 Golden Lord. We can, funny enough, we can actually check. They have 3 Golden Lord. I'm so surprised. So anyways, they go ahead and use their Golden Lord Engraved to get rid of their Fountain, which is just crazy in my opinion. But we're just gonna call by that away. So no Golden Lord effects, not this turn, because the Golden Lord would get bigger than the Dragoon and potentially out it. So the Golden Lord will get banished here. They lose their Fountain too, which hurts so bad. Now this is a wild play on their part. I was not expecting this. We'll let the jump scare hit us when it does. So Vaquero to bring itself out, Conquistador to bring itself out. Both of these I'm like, whatever, man. These are 2 trap monsters. Who cares? So bring out both of these. They have no additional effects. Notice here, both level 5, and they're both light. That's relevant. Because they make a Chaos Angel insane. Now this thing does get a chance to banish, and it gets an attempt to, which, I would imagine they would want to go for the Secret Village, but who knows, maybe this spell is going to say otherwise. But because they use light monsters, this thing's unaffected by monster effects, meaning that in engine, they can make a towers, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So the Chaos Angel, or attempt to Chaos Angel the crossout designator here, doesn't matter, because we were going to use it anyways. I think at this point, this is forcing me to, I need to destroy a card with Dragoon to pump him up to 4K, or this Chaos Angel is going to run him over by battle. So I'll just chain the crossout designator, declare whatever, Ash Blossom, who cares? And then I'll chain Dragoon to negate this crossout and just pitch the talents that wasn't doing anything anyways. So now my Dragoon is at 4K. Sure, they get to out the Secret Village, who cares? This Dragoon is going to put in so much work. And so, let's see, they're going to go ahead and Revolution Synchron into an IP Masquerena. And then they're going to use the Revolution Synchron's Graveyard effect, control a level 7 or higher Synchro while it's in the grave, send the top card of the deck to the graveyard. Ooh, that's a nice little mill effect there. Special summon it, its level becomes 1. So let's see. They mill again, and then they bring out the Synchron. But what are they going to do? Because this Dragoon is just going to go so hard on the next turn. It's gonna burn them for game, essentially. I could just run it into whatever they have here. If they wanted to IP, I can negate that. They've got 2 monsters on the field. Like, I don't think sticking this guy was at all the correct play. They probably should have just sat with this Chaos Angel for a little bit and tried to turtle up. But crazy game. I mean, we basically turned what was an unplayable hand into something that was actually contending them decently well. I also just had to show off this deck. It was just so cool. I mean, we're fusing Runicks, Eldlich. They even had a small Bestial package that they probably cited in. The Ken and Gens, little Synchro package. Just so much fun. I think that the opponent had a really interesting strategy here. Look at this extra deck. It's just so cool. They're on the Typhon as well. But yeah, we're going to be avoiding playing into that as best as possible, because this guy hard counters Dragoon. But anyways, yeah, there's another Dragoon control replay. Deck profile will be coming soon enough. We're still experimenting a little bit. I really need the math on this deck to check out. I want an over 80% chance to hit Dragoon on the opening hand, and ideally an over 60% chance to both hit Dragoon and a Floodgate. So we're tweaking things a little bit, side ratios, stuff like that, but soon enough we will be debuting the Dragoon control. Until next time.